Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with co-host James Mason. Good morning, James. How you doing?
Todd, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well this morning. I'm enjoying the cooler mornings here in Michigan.
Oh, nice. When you say cooler, how cool?
Well, it's not the temperature that's important; it's the humidity. So 3 of the last 4 nights, the humidity has been down low enough where you can open the windows and turn off the air conditioning and have a reasonable night of sleep.
Well, maybe it ain't. Maybe it ain't so much the temperature up there that's making it so hot. Maybe it's all this inflation. That was corny.
We had a bell, I'd ring it. Ding.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So, man, my wells. I have no idea what the hell they're trying to do. They're still long $360.8 million. Yeah.
Well, someone didn't like the CPI numbers at 8:30. I know that. Show that chart up. That's ugly.
This is okay. So this is the 5-minute chart.
Yeah, if you had options, man, you are, as they say, foobarred.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I did have a call contract. I'm glad I only took one. Because they were pretty bullish yesterday. Nothing too crazy. They did peel back about, just rough estimation, half of what they were long yesterday. Which, I mean, really isn't that big of a deal, but I mean, seeing that chart, it's kind of surprising that they sold half. And the reason why I say that is y'all saw that 1 5-minute candle. That was let's go back and look. Hold on. This 1 5-minute candle on the S&P 500, that was a 93.8 candle. Like, that's how many points were in that, in a loss. 93.
It's a lot.
93 points, yeah. I figured that they would have, instead of still being long, I figured that they'd have went and sold off everything and went extremely short with that much movement.
And SPY, that was a 10-minute candle. I mean, a $10 candle.
Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, I don't know. That's extreme, to say the least.
Well, what will be interesting to watch if the whale, because in 370 million is not a big position for them, honestly.
No, not at all.
So what will be interesting is what they're going to do here in the next half hour to an hour, what moves they make. But this would be a crazy recovery today if they went long and it bounced and did a V-shaped recovery today off 10 points.
Yeah, if they don't close out their long position and like go significantly short, I'm gonna be just mind blown. And anytime something wild has happened in the market, that just like I'm not saying that they're gonna be correct this time. Now you gotta think, guys, like they were already correct in this run. They bottomed it out. Like, we saw the bottom, and I'll be honest, from a technical analysis perspective, I didn't see no bottom. Like, there was, in my eyes, like, and on the charts, there was no bottom in the market, just a few weeks ago, when spot was under 370. And I mean, they just kept going long, and I was just like, man, something's up. I mean, hindsight being 2020, they knew about the whole Chinese tariff stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. It's crazy. Anytime that they have been in a situation where I'm just like, man, these guys might be way off. Something has always oddly happened to where they just ended up being extremely correct. um, Now they could peel off that 360 million easy during the live market. Okay, so let me back up. So when I say they bottomed the market out, they bottomed the whole damn market out, and they rode that shit all the way up. We'll just talk about the SPY. Like, they rode it all the way up and was selling off at 390. So they more than made their money here. Now they're just playing in between the lines, and they're still long for some reason, which is interesting. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about and explain because there's no setup. They don't trade off setups at all. It's just whenever they deem the market needs to go up. Now, I'm not saying that the market's still going to go up. They could, because they've already made so much profit here in this last run, and they were playing in between the lines here. Maybe they're going to just like kind of average down again, regrip the market.
But James, I don't get the impression. So my question to you is, do you get the impression that they play in the market? I get the impression that they create the market.
They create the entire market.
Yeah. So if in the next 45 minutes, if they don't cut that position, this is going to be a weird one to watch, because that means that they're looking to make that $10 candle on SPY disappear, which will be crazy.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily give it a time frame of 45 minutes. What they do today will speak volumes on everything.
Okay.
So I'll give it today, and we can talk about it tomorrow. But today, they'll show their hand today. I mean, not publicly, but to me at least.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, well, that'll be interesting to watch then. So that's obviously your hot watch list today, is watching SPY and the futures and the Qs.
Yeah, this definitely changed my trading plan today, because if we go back to that chart. Okay, so here's the 5-minute chart. This SP 500. You can see right here. I mean, guys, like, I was already writing checks and cashing them in my mind mentally right here on this candle. I was already collecting a payday in my mind, and then, surprise, I'll go. I'll go. 5-minute candle. Like, honestly, I'm surprised there wasn't a limit down. I'm really surprised. Like, that's because y'all remember the pandemic when we had those limit ups and limit downs. I mean, it just got, you couldn't swing trade. You could not swing trade.
Premarket, maybe?
It was happening in the pre-market.
Okay.
I mean, it was happening all through the day. I'm just trying to remember correctly, but it was so hard to swing trade in. I know, looking back at the chart, you'd be like, oh, that would have been so easy. It wasn't, because, you'd have the Dow moving 1,500 damn points in a day. So, like, trying to swing trade that shit, like, you were not getting good entries then. And it was just killing premiums. Now, if you held onto it because of the overall sentiment in the market, yeah, you still turned out damn good. But what I'm saying is, like, in those moments when the market moves, in terms of like the Dow Jones, when Dow moves like 1,500 points or over 1,000 points almost every day, when it was wild, if y'all remember, man, nailing those good entries was virtually impossible at that point. It just moved so much. It screwed up premiums. Premiums were sky high to begin with. And I mean, you really just had to just hold on tight. Now, I don't know if we're going to get into that again, but wow, like almost a 94 point candle immediately. And that is, let's see, we'll put on the 1 minute. So in the first minute, it was 68 points, and then just kind of like dwindled down from there. But yeah, in 1 minute, the market S&P 500 dropped 68 points in 1 minute. Imagine the hundreds of billions of dollars that turned over right there in the market.
Well, we can't. I mean, truly, it's a hard thing to wrap your head around, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Now again, like I was saying, like I don't know if they're gonna play in between the lines today, and today just kind of be an overall choppy day, and it like not actually like do like a V-shaped recovery and run. Maybe they're just gonna play in between the lines just to make up for, this. We'll just say $100 million loss or whatever the hell it might have been for them, which isn't nothing to them, especially with the amount of money that they've made on this run up. But maybe they're just going to play in between the lines today, chop it back and forth, and just, between collecting premiums, just trade the difference between catching these little bottoms and riding the market up a few points, selling, shorting it back down, that, and just really work their way out of that small loss and then roll it over afterwards. I don't know. But we will see. We will see. And I do believe that today they will show us, or show me at least, what they are doing as they trade. Like, I'm just so surprised that they still haven't. They're just doing petty trading right now. It's just kind of like either like, shit, no big deal, or.
Well, let's be honest. The junior traders are trading right now. The big boys are still enjoying their coffee. They're getting their sesame toasted bagel at the local coffee shop, and they're walking into their Wall Street offices.
Yeah, and then they go up to the intern who's in charge of this right now, and they're like, WTF, Brian? What? Look at the market.
I don't think I can give you a good review on your internship. You
mean to tell me you still have $360 million that you haven't sold yet?
Yeah. Why don't you pack your desk and security?
Yeah. They're actually probably so like used to this. They probably walk in with their coffee and they immediately like look at their systems and they're just like, hey Brian, we're having a party in the lobby. Hey, can you go down there and help them real quick? And then security's just waiting on them. Like they'd unpacked all their shit up as they were talking.
Oh,
yeah. So today's gonna be interesting. I'm getting kicked in the nuts in that call contract for SPA, but we'll just see. What else was I gonna say? Oh, talking about like the market though, the labor market. Let's talk about what we were just saying pre-market here.
We're talking about inflation, and you made the comment that, and we feel like this is something different than we've ever experienced before. And I'm a couple years older than you, and I would agree with you on that. That over the last 30 years, I think we're in a window in the marketplace between COVID, the Fed's passing out free money, the labor shortage, chain supply issues. This is not a issue that we have had in our time frame. Yeah.
But like we were talking about with the pontoon boats.
Oh yeah. Want to share that story?
Yeah, I don't want you to just say yeah on the show. They don't know what you're talking about.
I have a tent rental business, and yesterday I delivered some tables and chairs to a company that manufactures pontoon boats, and told me to bring over by this big tent, and they had this like huge tent. It's not really a tent; it's more like it's on asphalt, and it's got square framing. It's like a semi-permanent structure, and they're building a new building, a big building, probably like 30 to 40,000 square feet, like a second 2-level, like a big tall building. And so I asked them what's going on. They brought the structure in because they're so backed up on their orders that they're going to start building pontoon boats. outside in this tent. So I made a joke like, how many weeks are you behind? And they laughed and said, weeks. They said, months. And I said, wow. I go, like, here is July. I go, 6 months behind. And they go, 6 months. They go, if we could deliver everything we wanted to our customers in 6 months, they'd pay a premium. They would be happy to get their boats in 6 months. So here you are. You think about who owns pontoon boats, who's using pontoon boats, how often you use a pontoon boat, what it costs to fuel it and set up, and where you would use it. You need a trailer, you need to have a cottage, you need to have access to a lake. They are over 6 months behind on delivering pontoon boats. I just find that mind-boggling.
Like, it's crazy because pontoon boats are not cheap. Not cheap at all.
No, if you bought a low end entry pontoon boat, you could spend $30,000 to $40,000.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking about this, guys, is we're basically talking about like the relevance of how people are choosing to spend their money in the market. It's so weird because, I mean, yeah, all signs are pointing toward a recession, but I mean, are we really going toward a recession if people are spending money like that? I mean, we all remember, 2007 to 2009. That was really like the big chunk of the recession and the stock market taking a beating back in the day. But people weren't spending money like that. Even right before it, like around the beginning of 07. So Lehman Brothers took their hit, I think March of 07, I believe, somewhere around that time frame. And then after that, that's when things got real shitty. And by the end of 07, I mean, it was just a shit show. So if you look back, like people still weren't like throwing money around then. And it's just weird to see that like a pontoon manufacturer is so far behind that like even their people will be happy to have their boats by next summer. Really.
Which is crazy because when we're in the middle of July, this would be the time that you'd be on your pontoon boat 4, 5, 6 times of the few times that you're going to use it right now. And you can't, you have to wait till next summer.
Yeah. So like what's really going on in the labor market? I mean, we're clearly moving product in the country. We just don't have the people to build it. So, yeah, and then also too, on top of it, the demand of buying. Like I don't know. It's weird. And I know you can't base the entire economy off of a pontoon manufacturer.
So last week I was driving through Grand Rapids, Michigan, delivering either tents, or I was going to watch Ben play in a men's soccer game. And this strip of manufacturing facilities and tool die shops, etc., there was probably like a 1.5 mile strip where businesses had 4x8 electronic signs out along the road. And they weren't saying hiring. They were saying jobs starting at $20 an hour, offering entry job plus sign-on bonus, $18 to $22 an hour. Like businesses are now putting their information on the billboards or on the signage out there. Like, we're not paying minimum wage. We're paying more than double minimum wage. And one place had 20 positions available, starting pay over $18 an hour. Like 20 positions. We're not talking like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
My wife received an email from the school district yesterday, and they have a summer program where they hire paraprofessionals for the special ed program. Usually they have 1 or 2 spots available. They have 14 in our local school district, 14 parapros available to hire, and starting pay is around $15 an hour. They can't hire. People don't want to work. People just literally do not want to work. I had an ad running for Tent Helper. I had a guy email me. He goes, I have a crew of 4 guys. We want $25 an hour each. Like that was his opening conversation to me. Like I just deleted the email. Like I'm not gonna pay guys
No,
$25
you
an
should have hired them like, well, I only pay in cash, and you paid them, and then you have Annie down the road with a gun, and she robs them. That's what you should do.
hour.
Rob them for the cash you just paid them. That's messed up.
So to your point, we are experiencing something. It's just weird that we have a mentality that people just physically don't want to get their butts off the couch and do something because there's a handout somewhere down the road. And
That's the thing. Like that's just one piece of this, though, and that's why it's so confusing. Like there's so many pieces that you have to plug together here, and it just doesn't make sense if you really just try to line everything up. I don't know. I really don't know, guys. But to kind of get off this subject, and to wrap that topic up, so with CPI numbers being that way, I feel like it's probably pretty safe to say that the Federal Reserve in this next FOMC will probably do a 75 basis point increase. That's kind of where things were already looking to go to begin with, if the numbers were higher. So yeah, I mean, if the Fed would go higher than 75 points, then I mean that's obviously going to crush the market. But if they do 75 points, it's going to be to be expected. If they do anything lower than 75 points, which I highly doubt now, since we just hit 9.1% for CPI numbers. But if they would do anything less than 75 basis points, it would be a huge surprise for the market. But again, I highly, highly doubt that one now. So yeah, like other than that in the market, man, the next big topic in the market that everyone's talking about, or at least the media, is Elon Musk.
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes away from the market.
So apparently Elon Musk has fallen from grace, and now's the time for me to befriend him. You know, he's vulnerable. He's probably lonely because the world is taking a shit on him. Former President Trump took a shit on him, which I just thought was, I don't know. Trump could be trying to create a distraction. Now's not the time for Trump to be trying to stick his neck out on social media, especially talking trash about Elon Musk. But it's just weird how, man, everybody's trying to come down on Elon Musk, and they're using the whole Twitter thing as the reasoning here. Which in the end, I won't be surprised if Elon still doesn't buy Twitter. He just
will buy it at a much lower price.
Yeah, everybody screams about how Elon Musk is a genius, and then it's just like a light switch. One day, everybody's like, Elon Musk is a damn idiot, you know? Like everybody's like bashing him. I'm just like, this dude is a certified genius. Like, you not think that there's not a strategy here?
Well, so here's my quick strategy. Want to buy Twitter? I want you to prove your accounts are all real. They get they balk, they hesitate. He says, I'm not buying Twitter. Twitter sues him. Elon's like, all right, let's go to court. I'm in court now, and I wanted to verify the accounts. Court says to Twitter, prove your accounts are real. Twitter's effed. If they get to the point where the courts are telling them to document their membership, Elon is back in business. That's the chess move, I think, is what's going on.
True, very true. And then, you know, with him having this surprise baby, apparently the other day,
babies,
or it is a couple months old, where he got his executive pregnant, or was it twins? Was it twins?
Yeah.
He has so many kids. I don't know. But like people are trashing him over that. Like
he has needs.
Exactly. But it's crazy. Like, I mean, that'd be the equivalent of like me getting Johnny pregnant, you know? And it's 2020. Don't question it. Anyways, like, I don't know. I mean, it is crazy, but Oh man, the world is just shitting on Elon Musk right now. So
we'll see how that plays out for him. I think
yeah,
he'll do all right. Hey, real quick, I've had probably like you and I didn't talk about this. POAI yesterday did a 20-cent run up. People said, what's going on? What happened? The only thing I can tell you is that when you look at the volume, we've been trading 200,000 shares. And yesterday we traded 5.5 million. I think someone bought something big. And I think some people got out that were tired and made flip for a break even or a short profit. But for that type of shares to be brought up like that or to be buying, somebody was buying something and positioning themselves.
see, I kind of see it a little bit differently. I think there's an institution who wanted to get out of their short position, and the stock just wasn't going down because the volume was so low. And by the time they started covering their couple million shares, it was probably around 1 million shares that they're trying to cover. But then, obviously, them trying to cover 1 million shares, or hypothetically 1 million shares, I'm just saying, it just triggered buying orders of everything else, and it kind of squeezed them up and out. And then somebody else came in and shorted it from the damn top. Like, they were on that damn thing. Like, they stay shorting damn POAI. I don't get it.
There's not a lot of meat on the bones there to short. That's what is kind of crazy. Like what's their upside risk at 60 cents to make 60 cents? Where if POAI releases some news, they're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, we saw if that is true, and there's no way for me to 100% know for sure, but if that is true, we saw literally how little it would take to push it up.
Hey, we're less than a minute.
All right, so let's go and wrap this up. Yeah, weird market. Inflation is obviously higher. Who knows the real number? We'll never get that answer. But yeah, other than that, really today for me is gonna now be just to see what the wells do and make decisions then. So I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Man, be careful, guys. I'm going heavy in the trade right now. Would be the last thing I personally want to do. So thank y'all for tuning in today. Remember, trade safe, have a stop loss in, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
See ya.